Speaker.
I call the Tim Bean to Molen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honour to rise and take a call on this bill today, and I'd like to start by acknowledging all past and present New Zealand Defence personnel for their service they have provided to New Zealand, through the challenges they may present, the opportunities that brings, the friendship, the camaraderie, the skills, and ultimately the service upholding the values and freedoms that we hold so dear in New Zealand. Now, Madam Speaker, this bill today actually formalises a lot of what happens around the country, and I take great pride in attending Anzac services around the Waikato every year, get to as many as I can, and you can see out in our communities that there is a strong sense of the importance of attending those services, of remembering the service, the sacrifice that has been made, and whether that was quite some time ago or quite recently. And so I think in that context it's encouraging to feel that formal recognition is already occurring in our communities, and yet today we are now formalising that through legislation, as well we should. And we've heard a bit about some of the plaques around Parliament as well, and indeed World War I is clearly recognised, World War II and beyond, but more modern plaques as well with Timor-Leste and Afghanistan, noting indeed already in this House we have those plaques and appreciate that service that was made, but this legislation will now formalise that to bring it more into line with where we are. And it's an important step, because although this is already largely happening, actually it is really important that the government of the day, that this Parliament shows a clear sign of appreciation for what has been done on its behalf by the brave men and women that have put on the uniform. And so that formal acknowledgement is really important, not just for those personnel that have served recently, but indeed for any personnel that have served or died in training incidents as well. That's an important one that I think we need to pick up on, because it is critical when you are training in the Defence Force that you train in as realistic scenarios as possible. And of course that comes with an inherent level of risk, and sadly there have been instances where lives have been lost in that training or in different training scenarios. And so of course we should acknowledge those personnel too. But the other thing I wanted to pick up on from the Minister's speech was acknowledging, going right back to the definition of Anzac Day, in terms of acknowledging not just UK, Australian and New Zealand forces, but actually expanding that to acknowledge other countries that were represented and contributed through that endeavour as well. And India in particular is one I've had some conversations about quite recently, and so it's I think very fitting and appropriate that we are now acknowledging those soldiers that served during that time as well. So, Madam Speaker, I am very pleased that we are now able to formalise this. I have the privilege of chairing the Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Committee, and so I look forward to our committee's consideration of this bill, and I would encourage anyone who has an interest in the bill, the detail of it, or potentially proposing some amendments or suggestions, to take the time to submit through that process, and to enable myself and my colleagues on the committee to consider that, to ensure that we are getting this piece of legislation in the best state possible to appropriately reflect and honour those service personnel. So, Madam Speaker, I think that basically covers where we're at. A great progression, building on, I think, what's been a growing momentum of work in terms of acknowledging veteran service. We've heard around some of the other work that's been considered by the Minister that hopefully will come to this House in due course, and indeed the collaborative comments from the opposition in terms of their desire to support this appropriately as well. So I'm very encouraged by that, and I think it's a fitting time as well when we think of not just those that have been before, but indeed those who continue to serve in a time of increasing uncertainty around the globe. There is never a time when we are safe, when peace is perpetual. We must continue to stand up for those values, for those freedoms, and always be ready to serve this country. And I just want to end again on acknowledging those that have done that, because it is very important for all of us, lest we forget.
No disagreements from me.
No, I'm going to default.
Sam, I'm going to make a prediction. I would say that this bill will get 100% support through the House. I don't think there'll be a dissenting vote. That's what I'm going to put $10 on it.
You've already read the Hansard?
No.
Because it did pass unanimously.
No, it's just good to hear them all, behind and it just shows you, at the end of the day, we're all Kiwis.
Yeah.
The
interesting part will it have 100% positive support at the select committee process?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, there might be a couple of that little. I just those two earlier speakers were talking about that acknowledgement of the Māori Wars, or the colonial wars. I can't think of a reason why you'd leave that out of our history. It just, and I don't even want to get into a debate. It's part of our history. Put it in there. Put it in there. I mean, you're talking about people that have gone. They're not in this world anymore. They might be in
Yeah.
heaven or somewhere else. You're just talking about an acknowledgement of that. Are we not?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's great. It's great to see people. Yeah,
I
And it's
know.
also keeping in mind what Anzac Day is about. It's a memorial.
yeah,
It's a day of
commemoration.
remembrance. So, it's important.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yes, of course, you should include it.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Helen White.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook.